From the side of Team BDS, especially with that mid-jungle combination.
This was what we saw yesterday, right? That Zoe, Poppy, mid-jungle duo gives you a lot of agency and priority in the early game because Zoe is a champion that from level 1 can already start to push that lane in. There's going to be a lot of fighting between these two mid laners rather to try and get some control over this lane so they can help support their junglers, but as is tradition, the Trundle being used as an answer to the Poppy. We just heard Elyoya talking about how he typically prefers to be on the Elyoya side, on the Poppy side, because you have a little bit more agency, a few more options. But let's see how Razor brings this one out.
I like this, and the crowd likes this. And I think the reason we like this is like when I think of Gragas top, specifically in the LEC, I think of Wonder on that mad 1v2 outplay on the top side. And that's something that can give you that little bit of magic, that little bit of, you know, just gusto that you need to spark a reignition in the team.
It certainly can. Wonder's Gragas has been fantastic so far this split. Many were even considering putting him as the best top laner at the start of the season. But obviously, as Fnatic have continued to struggle, a large part of that, especially yesterday, was he wasn't getting the resources that he needed on the Jace yesterday. He really was shut down. We'll see on the Gragas if he even needs them, as supports are now being targeted from really both sides. That's Pyke and Rakan, both removed from Hylissang on the bot side of the map. BDS trying to limit Hylissang's ability to have playmaking power. Fnatic removing a few more AD carries. Sivir is, of course, still up and available.
See what they want to go for here. You've got the Sivir, you of course have the
Zyre is another potential option.
I was going to say the kind of more hyper carries, and I will say Xmani did very well yesterday. Unfortunate that they weren't able to kind of convert his early game lead, and the Lula gets in. So that's a lot of support bans. We're whittling down the pool down to away from those enchanters. It's going to be a lot of hard engage, you would imagine.
Let's have a look, see in what direction both of these teams. Problem is with bot lanes is it's often very difficult to predict because you have so many options, right? Do you want to play more of the poke style, which it looks like BDS definitely do? Zoe plus Ezreal is a tried and true combo that has been played for quite a while. Just typically very good at being first on an objective, and it makes this Fog of War a very dangerous place to face check because of the immense range that it has and the scary poke damage that it can provide when setting up around an objective is something that no team wants to deal with. But also Poppy, I think, synergizes beautifully with poke compositions because it helps create that space. The second that the engage comes through, you can use that Poppy ultimate to disengage and then reset the fight at range, allowing you to continue leveraging that poke and chipping away at your opposition.
Definitely have poke on the side there. We're going to have a little bit more engage coming out here as Fnatic fans in strong force today. They really want to try and be the sixth man for their team. And now for Team BDS, you are missing on a little bit of engage, but looking for, honestly, just a straight up front to back team fight if they do end up going with something like the Rel or the Alistar in the bot side.
I think that the Braum could be very solid here. I think what Braum in particular can offer is while BDS don't have the strongest engage, I think that when you look at the poke comp that they've decided to go for more of, it just adds to that disengage. It does mean that it's really important for them to be first on the objective because you typically want your opposition to be walking into you, which means that you're not that reliant on that engage. You can also better set up Aggressivo to try and find those flanks on the Gnar. But I also think that against Sivir in particular, his shield can be very effective at mitigating a lot of her pressure.
Sure.
So when you move her into the mid lane or when you move her to the side lanes, expected this type of movement to come from him, and he really didn't have to do much aside from show his presence, but Fnatic want to take more.
Yeah, they want to take more. Razork now with the company of Hylissang. It's going to be a jungle support 2v2 here as Syncroft's kind of saying, all right, cool, thanks Limit, I'm out. He's going to try running away. His Humanoid was going to make it a bit of a 3v2 affair, but Fnatic, they get revenge for the stolen chickens and they get themselves a little bit of a camp lead as well.
Interrupt.
They're
going for the fight.
They're going for the full fight. Syncroft this time around, though, is being ticked down by the Ignite. Needs to be very, very careful. They did have Nuclear Int in the back pocket, so everyone just kind of disengages.
Nuclear Int will get the flash here. He needs to be careful because there's still two members of Fnatic. He's going to recognize it, not overextend. The cannon minion will be lost. Sad time, -1s in the chat for Nuclear Int. Thanks, man.
Yeah, definitely the pressure mounting here is BDS kind of saying, look, we're not going to let Razork have this for free. We have some decent wave control, and of course, Aggressivo having that Mega Gnar very soon makes him a very, very scary prospect, but upsets the first one to roam. You do not have a teleport on Xmani, so he couldn't join it even if he wanted to. He is going to get pushed right now, though, and Fnatic are just delayed on this, and this is something that we've kind of been seeing a lot is that around this Rift Herald is that you kind of need to fully commit or not commit at all, and you can see they're leaving their AD carry on the bot side. They're happy with getting Xmani up to that 2-item spike.
Now, Aggressivo may have overextended here, so it's going to pop the ultimate.
Oh no, Aggressivo. Not the time to be using your ultimate. He's not even going to use his flash. He knows he is dead to rights, and that's going to be Fnatic getting upset. A nice little kill.
Yeah, a really big blunder there from Agresivo. You have to question why he chose to try and push that wave in when he knew that Fnatic was on the Herald. BDS intentionally chose to cross-map on the other side.
Trying to support each other. Limit, though, might be a little bit isolated here. The Weaver's Wall is going to come out to try and stop him from getting away, but now Humanoid's away from the rest of his team as the exhaust has to come down. The concussive blows on top of the Glacial Fissure is going to force Humanoid to flash away. You can see now Hylissang kind of left there. It's actually Upset got caught out and his health bar deleted, and that's Nuclear Inc. getting a kill. They're going to stun down as Max Matty is feeling confident as Razork now very close to going down. Nuclear Inc. finds the paddle star, and BDS punish Fnatic.
And what a strange sequence of events. It looked initially like BDS wanted to collapse onto Fnatic, who then wanted to collapse onto BDS, who then wanted to... But it was Humanoid in the end that ends up getting collapsed on, and BDS are able to find a good first kill. So in this situation, BDS is trying to collapse onto Fnatic, and this is where we see Fnatic trying to collapse onto BDS. And then BDS is saying, hey, well, we actually have mid prio, so maybe we can collapse first. And they're like, no, we have control because we rotated from the top. And then we see Humanoid actually use the wall to separate himself away, so he ends up isolating himself from the rest of the team, which is kind of what made this sequence of events so strange. He's forced to flash away, Upset can't really offer assistance, and a good panel start from Nuclear secures that first kill. Into the stun from Xmati and Limit, and then the damage coming out from downtown. Xmati likely securing that kill if they weren't able to land the bubble.
Closer to playoffs, so no better time to start getting those wins in, but you got to be able to get them in. This game is fairly close, apart from those two dragons there for BDS, and second Herald's been started off by Syncroft, but he has been spotted out from it, so he's just going to have to back himself away a little bit from it. But you can see Fnatic, they're not willing to let this one go, because it would mean priority in that mid lane for this third dragon. Here we go, full fight going to happen right on the back fight of this Herald fight, kind of coming in. The good hammer to keep them away. The Braum has gone down. Agresivo can't do much against Wonder. That Shelly's still going, and they're going to have some decent bursts on the Razork. He does have the flash after using the smite for some extra health. Then they get flash on the back. It's so scrappy, so all over the place. But Fnatic are the ones coming out on top.
Very scrappy fight from BDS. Fnatic was primarily clumped as a 5, and there was a weird skirmish from either side as Wonder was trying to keep Agresivo out of the fight. He was in Mega Gnar but never had a good opportunity to use the ultimate, and Syncroft was just isolated in the pit. And just look at the positioning right now at BDS. You've got 1 on the top part of the river, you've got 3 around this red buff trying to enter the choke, as Fnatic primarily has control. A good pillar and a wall from Humanoid separates BDS away from the front line, and Agresivo gets ulted by Wonder, limiting his impact in the fight. So credit to Wonder there, but you can see how the fight is just so scattered for BDS, and it's much easier for Fnatic to play. Razor gets very close to losing his life, but Upset is left untouched, forcing Syncroft to flash away. They get that initial kill onto Braum, they convert it into another one onto Gnar, and that will mean a Herald for Fnatic. And look, BDS is actually first in the river. This makes it very hard for Fnatic to approach. Oh, unless they do that.
Unless you get caught out. These flicks from Humanoid have been fantastic. There's going to be the ultimate from the Sivir to try and speed everyone up. Shelly will be able to get the belly boop off, and another flick back means that Nuclear Int is dead. That's a double kill coming out now for Wonder. Fnatic, they're building that momentum we talked about. They're building up some movement to try and make sure this game can be a win for them, and they're starting to get some good results from the play. That they will be there at the top, especially now that Europe has 4 seeds. But here we go, Fnatic looking to try and make the mark in this fight. Limit's been isolated away from his team, and rocks are better than ice. Back himself away, the flick back not quite there. Syncroft jumps straight on the Humanoid, but a pixel perfect cleanse right off the back of it. A Nuclear End. He is not having a fun time in this series right now. He is just getting absolutely bopped about the place. Razork not quite done with the fight yet. Syncroft could go for a steal. Razork's very, very low. Needs to be very careful. Wonder gets yeeted across the map as Fnatic's Humanoid tries to just kind of do the damage. The TP from Wonder on the backside of this one, though, will definitely be a bit of a surprise for BDS. The Dragons reset. Agresivo flashes immediately. Limit and Syncroft are running for the hills. It's a double kill for the side of the Sivir. Everyone is falling to the wayside. I think BDS, that could have been your last chance saloon.
BDS get wiped off the map as Fnatic secure themselves an ace and a dragon. The Baron is free for the taking as well, and Fnatic look to take a convincing win. So Syncroft tries to force the engage. He sees that he's caught out Humanoid, the quick cleanse to try and create space between him and look at Wonder. Recognizes that Nuclear Int is kind of isolated in his ultimate, uses the barrel to hand deliver him over to Upset, and this is where BDS, they see a good opportunity to try and force a 4 versus 4. Syncroft gets a good ultimate off onto Wonder to take one of the big damage threats away. But then Razork is able to create space by flashing over the wall, and the TP comes in from Wonder to very quickly rejoin the fray as BDS is committing to the fight. Humanoid gets pretty low, but he can't actually close the gap. And remember, the BDS want to be chipping away at their opposition. They don't have that hard committal CC unless Aggressivo can find an insane flank, which makes it so easy for Fnatic to actually kite them back and have them run into, well, the enemy run into them, while the Sivir just picks them apart.
I'm going to ask you for a little bit of single verdicts I've ever seen in my life. They'll finally join back in, saying, hello, lads. Sorry about that. Very, very sorry about the slight interruption. But I will say for Limit, something that we haven't seen him use, a little interaction. He can put the wall up to try and block the Taliyah wall, the Unbreakable, and kind of stop it from giving a full cut-off, but just hasn't really been in a position to do that. It's been very much a focus on keeping his life going. And the life of BDS, it's fading fast, Betty.
It certainly is. They will be eliminated from playoffs. They will not have an opportunity to compete with the best that Euros has to offer. It's been a difficult season for BDS, but Fnatic, they do not care. They want to bounce back. They want to secure themselves a win. And with the Nexus in their eyes, they're looking to end the game right here, right now.
You've got Aggressivo trying to come back to his team, but you've already lost. What you have built up shall be yours. There's going to be the Aggressivo using his ultimate defensively, and the Glacial Fissure as well coming out here from BDS, so not quite able to get those big engage ultimates out for themselves. The Nexus being pounded right now. They're being pulled left, right, and center. They need to make a decision, Betty.
Things are just falling apart for BDS. All three inhibitors have now dropped. Fnatic, they look to disengage. Nope, they're going to fight.
They're going in again. Aggressivo gets flicked back as well. Wonder has found Xmani, but Xmani flashes away. Humanoid, though, does not want him to live. Aggressivo has already fallen. Xmani trying to see if he can dodge this one out, but that is not going to be possible there. The Taliyah is just too damn strong. And finally, Fnatic will find themselves a win and go 1-1 in this week and start to bring themselves back into playoff contention. Needed win for Fnatic after what has been a difficult few weeks. They needed to get themselves back in winning ways.